Well, hi, I've got this open in Chief Architect Premier version X6, 16, because I don't know what home designer title that you have that you created it in, and telling you what to do would be very important to know what you have to use, because in Premier and in Chief Architect excuse me, Home Designer Pro, you can just manually edit these roof planes. But in anything else in Home Designer, you can't just click on them and move them around. And the reason the ridge is not straight is because the program is designed to build equilaterally spaced roof planes between parallel walls. So you've got a lot of walls that are parallel, but they're not the same distance apart, so obviously the ridge is going to be different. And the only way you're going to get that straight is in Home Designer Pro, so that you can click on roof planes like I'm doing and select each one and manipulate each one. Because the program's never going to automatically line up a single ridge when you have different pairs of parallel walls. So like the mid distance between this wall and this wall is right along in here where the program put a ridge, and the other ridge, the main ridge on the house, is between this wall and this wall, so the midpoint's right there. And in order to make them line up, you'd have to have manual roof tools. So you have to have Pro, or you have no solution at all whatsoever anyway. So, okay, how would you do that? And it's not a very good idea for even you to consider that. And let me show you why. I'm going to get rid of this roof plane here. And we'll get rid of this one here. I'm just deleting them. Okay, and this little hip roof plane there, we'll get rid of it. We'll just take this roof plane here and extend it all the way over the house, and take this edge and parallel it up to that wall. Okay, I'm going to do a quick camera view so you can see what this looks like in 3D. And it's certainly not finished, but I just want to point up the problem. So you can put one roof plane across there, but then the overhang is more pronounced here than it is on this end of the house because of this jog here. In other words, you can do that. I'm going to leave those hip planes there. Let me just go Shift F6, Shift F6, so you can see this as it develops. Now this roof plane system here, I'm going to zoom in on the plan view side and straighten that out so it's not sticking in the house anymore. Just pull it outside of the house. And when I get those walls out of the way, you should see them kind of fill in. Straighten up those lines so the virtual rain doesn't get in. This ridge up here, I'm going to reattach it. A lot of times the ridges will come apart when you're working on them. In Pro and in Chief Architect Premier, you've got a Join Roofs tool. So we'll join the ridge. Now that edge needs to be paralleled. Okay. That's pretty good. Now I'm going to go back to this screen here and just drag that wall across. So that'll fill in. Now, when I fix this roof plane on the left, over here, then that'll chop that wall off. It's just an automatic kind of an occurrence. Roof planes are designed to chop off walls underneath it. You'll see that get trimmed off. Yeah, there you go. But when I joined this, because this wall is actually bearing over here, I mean this roof plane, and this is over here, the ridges aren't going to be straight. In other words, this ridge system is not going to continue. In order to have that work, I had to delete that roof plane actually. Go back over here, plan view. You turn this where you can see it. Okay, we'll take this roof plane here. Now you want this ridge to continue. Well then, in order for it to continue, it just has to be made to continue. So I'm just going to stretch it over there. This dialog, I never use it. I'm just going to cancel out of that. You should see a little sliver come over there. And I'm going to use the break line tool and break that long skinny edge and bring it down. You'll see that start to fill in. Yeah. Break it again. Okay. Now we have one continuous ridge from one end of the house to the other. The main ridge is now extended. We got a little hip roof system over the porch. And then it's just a matter of straightening out these old lines on the main gable there. Let's see, there's some extra jogs. See, there's some extra jogs in here that we no longer need. Those were created by the auto roof generator, and they're no longer really valid. So I'm going to simplify this roof plane down and get rid of these extra corners by dragging them corner to corner. And then let's see, yeah, we'll take this roof plane here and connect it to that one, ridge to ridge. There we go. You saw that it shot over the top ridge. Well, that's just evidence that we have more work to do. It's not a significant development. We'll just trim this roof plane off so that I use a join roof and join it to this edge, and it should straighten out. So, okay, that's not straightening out. What's wrong with that? I'll have to take a close. Oh, I see it here. What are we going to do with that? I'm going to try to join this edge and this edge. See if that doesn't clean that up some. Oh, I see. See that this is now going above the main ridge. So, like I say, Home Designer Suite, Essentials, Architectural, you can't do this kind of work. You have to have Pro. So you can manipulate roof planes directly. Because the automatic roof generator would just, I don't think would ever figure this out. Although it's not all that complicated. It's too complicated for a mere machine to do. So I've created a little triangle there, and then we'll fill it in with a triangle space from the other roof using brakes. There's one brake, another brake, and another brake. That creates two additional line entities which will connect here and here. I'll do that manually. Click on that, join roofs. Click on this edge and join roofs. Okay, that part of the roof is now finished. I'm going to zoom back. That just leaves the I think it's all finished up except for this front part. Yeah, I think that's, from what your description, that sounds like what you wanted. Now what are we going to do with this? We got a gable and a gable, and they're asymmetric. In other words, this part of the gable didn't, ideally would end over here, and it doesn't end over here. I don't know quite, I mean, like I said, the program would never figure this out automatically. It was something you had to do by learning the tools and making it bend to your will. Okay, let's look at this area over here in the plan view. We've got a little piece of roof plane here. I'm going to reshape it, put an extra edge on it with a brake tool, straighten that out. I think the program put a gable there, and that's kind of what we're going to do. Only I'm going to do it manually. I'm going to take this roof plane here, and using transform replicate tool, I'm going to copy that selected roof plane and move the copy to the right. That'd be move it 8 feet to the right, and I'm going to reflect it horizontally. Copy it, move it 8 feet to the right, and copy it and flip it around, something like that. You can see the copy I made right there. I'm going to move it over. Now there's a key thing missing here. I need to know where the baseline of the roof is, and baselines are currently visually turned off. So I need to find that layer. It'd be under roofs. Baselines. There it is. See, it's turned off. Roofs, baselines. That will give me a little line here, and that line is supposed to, that baseline, that's the pitch indicator, the perpendicular there, and this is the baseline. We'll click on the roof plane, and we'll use point-to-point move, left click, and left click on the baseline, and then left click on the outer edge of the framing where it's supposed to go. That's what I was after. Now we'll join the ridge. Just beginning to shape into something. Now this is kind of a problem, and once I tied that in there, it's going to be a dead valley there. So that's what I was talking about earlier when I said you wanted a straight ridge. Well, you have to pay for it sometimes in other work. But let's continue. I've been in building for over 35 years, so if I'm using some terms you're not familiar with, I'm sorry. But everything in the building industry has a name, and that's just the way those things go. So the edge of this roof plane would tie into the edge of this roof plane here. So I don't know exactly how that's going to end up, but I'm just going to use the join roofs tool and see the angle of connection. Okay. Yeah, this is not very workable as a roof system. Sometimes people who design houses who've never done it before want things that they shouldn't want. Yeah, this design here, although you have one main ridge, you got a big dead valley right here. And that's going to be a maintenance problem. So I wouldn't recommend putting a gable roof here. If you're thinking about a gable, you ought to forget about it. I'm going to delete that and delete this, because the gable's not workable. Okay. I'm just going to hit undo several times. Okay, we'll put that, I just deleted that and I just put it back. I'm hitting Control Z, Control Z on there we go. Now I'm just gonna, I got the main roof back. Now this I'm gonna delete. I think I am. I don't know how you'd roof this. I really don't. And that was the problem with your idea is the odd geometry. You might want to get. I think the solution is to get rid of this big gable here. That just doesn't fit at all. No, that doesn't fit at all. Main thing that new people don't understand is that the geometry of the floor plan, the geometry of this floor plan that you design, exactly and directly affects the 3D geometry of the roof system that then results. So if you want to have a nice symmetric roof system, you design a nice symmetric floor plan. Like get rid of this jog and get rid of this jog here. And so if you had a straight run here without these jogs, it'd be quite a bit easier to design a roof. But you're not paying me, and so this is as far as I'm going to go for this free session. You're going to have to figure out a different. The ideal scene would be to redo this addition so that you have a symmetric addition, and then you'll get a symmetric roof as a result. Otherwise, you're just going to be. It's going to be very difficult to get a roof system that you can actually build and then maintain over an asymmetric floor plan. I'm not saying it can't be done, I'm just saying it's more difficult. So anyway, this is as far as I intend to go, and I wish you some luck.